If this balance shifts, prices everywhere feel it. Dubai was sold as a miracle, a desert city that became a global powerhouse almost overnight. Skyscrapers pierced the sky, luxury cars filled the highways, and the Dubai economy became a symbol of unstoppable growth. But here's the paradox. The city famous for oil wealth barely had much oil at all. So how did it outpace neighbors sitting on oceans of crude? And why should you care? Because the forces behind how Dubai became rich shaped global trade, energy flows, and the prices you see today. Most people assume Middle East economic growth is simple. Find oil, sell oil, get rich. That story works on the surface until oil prices crash, currencies wobble, and inflation surges across markets. But the Dubai oil wealth narrative hides a deeper strategy: diversification before desperation. While many oil-rich countries' examples leaned on state spending and subsidies, Dubai rewired itself into a Dubai global trade hub. It's like building a steel bridge while everyone else keeps paving temporary roads, stable in calm weather, fragile in a storm. By the end of this video, you'll understand the Dubai diversification strategy and the UAE business model that reshaped the region. You'll see why perception, governance, and trade positioning matter more than natural resources. And most importantly, you'll understand whether this model is sustainable in a world splitting into rival economic blocs. Because the final question isn't how Dubai became rich, it's what happens if the system it depends on starts to crack. Stay until the end, because that final question might flip how you think about wealth, power, and stability entirely. Chapter 1. The myth of overnight riches. Dubai looks like it became rich in a weekend. Skyscrapers, Lamborghinis, indoor ski slopes in the desert. But here's the uncomfortable truth. In the 1950s, it was a dusty trading port with pearl divers struggling to survive. No skyline, no global spotlight, no Dubai economy miracle. So if oil made the Middle East rich, why did Dubai succeed with so little of it? Yes, oil was discovered in the 1960s, but here's the twist most people miss. Dubai oil wealth was always tiny compared to its neighbors. At its peak, oil accounted for less than 6% of today's GDP. Compare that to classic oil-rich countries' comparison examples like Saudi Arabia decades ago, where oil funded massive state budgets and subsidies. Dubai simply didn't have enough oil to live off it forever. That scarcity forced a different mindset: adapt or disappear. And because it couldn't rely on oil, it had to build real economic engines that create stable jobs and predictable markets. Think of it like someone who inherits a small bonus versus someone who wins the lottery. The lottery winner might splurge. The small bonus recipient invests carefully because they have to. That's the seed of how Dubai became rich, not through abundance, but through constraint. While others relied on energy exports to stabilize politics, Dubai had to rethink survival itself. But here's the tension building beneath the shine. What happens when a system built on urgency no longer feels urgent? Chapter 2. The strategic gamble from oil to trade hub. Here's where the Dubai economy stops looking lucky and starts looking intentional. Instead of treating oil like permanent income, Dubai treated it like venture capital. Leaders understood something early: the wells would dry up. So the real question wasn't how do we spend this, it was how do we turn this into leverage? The answer was infrastructure on a massive scale. Jebel Ali Port became one of the largest artificial harbors in the world, transforming Dubai into a Dubai global trade hub between Asia, Europe, and Africa. Emirates Airline didn't just move passengers, it rewired global aviation routes. Free zones offered tax incentives and full foreign ownership, a bold break from regional norms. And when global trade flows through one city, it shapes shipping costs, job creation, investment flows, and even the prices of imported goods in your local market. It's like someone using a small inheritance to build highways instead of buying luxury cars. Most oil-rich countries' comparison examples relied on subsidies to secure political stability and public loyalty. Dubai bet on openness, logistics, and Middle East economic growth instead. That Dubai diversification strategy became the core of the UAE business model. But here's the risk nobody talks about. What happens when the world splits into rival trade blocs and neutrality becomes harder to maintain? Chapter 3: Leadership, Risk, and Authoritarian Efficiency. Here's the part most people avoid saying out loud. Dubai didn't grow inside a noisy democracy with endless election cycles and policy reversals. It grew under centralized leadership, primarily the Al Maktoum family. Major economic decisions weren't debated for years. They were announced and implemented. That speed changed everything. Mega projects like financial free zones, artificial islands, and aviation expansion moved forward without bureaucratic paralysis. Investors received a clear signal: this is a place where rules are predictable and projects get finished. Contrast that with regional economies hit by sanctions, internal power struggles, or corruption scandals. Instability scares capital and raises borrowing costs. When investors feel uncertainty, markets react, currencies wobble, and everyday prices start climbing. Picture a startup founder who owns 100% of the company and answers to no board. Decisions happen fast, pivots are immediate, and strategy stays consistent for decades. That governance style accelerated diversification and shaped the broader regional landscape. But concentrated authority also concentrates risk. There's no institutional buffer if strategy goes wrong. And here's the unresolved tension. In a world of rising geopolitical pressure, can centralized efficiency adapt as quickly as it once did? Chapter 4: Branding a Mirage, Tourism, Luxury, and Global Perception. Dubai didn't just build infrastructure, it built an image the world couldn't ignore. The tallest tower on Earth, the Burj Khalifa. Artificial islands shaped like palm trees. This wasn't accidental development, it was strategic storytelling. Luxury became policy. High-end tourism, global events, tax-friendly residency, influencer visibility, all reinforcing the same message: this is where opportunity lives. Positioned between Europe, Asia, and Africa, Dubai turned geography into advantage and perception into capital. In a region often associated with instability, it marketed safety, efficiency, and access. And when global investors perceive stability, money flows, affecting global markets, real estate prices, and even energy trade routes that shape your country's inflation. It's like launching a product with premium packaging before competitors even understand branding. While some neighbors struggled with civil wars, sanctions, or restrictive business climates, Dubai sold aspiration. The Dubai global trade narrative merged with tourism, finance, and lifestyle into one cohesive brand. That perception fed the Dubai economy as much as ports and airports did. But here's the tension building beneath the shine. What happens if the brand of stability faces a geopolitical shock it can't control? Chapter 5: Why Others Couldn't and Whether the Dubai Model is Sustainable. If the formula looks obvious now, why didn't everyone copy it? Oil-rich countries' comparison debates often assume money alone guarantees Middle East economic growth, but oil dependence without diversification becomes a trap. When prices crash, budgets implode. When prices spike, governments delay reform. Look at regional realities. Sanctions squeezed Iran's economy and isolated its financial system from global markets. Civil wars devastated Iraq and Syria, destroying infrastructure before diversification could even begin. Political fragmentation in other states made long-term strategy nearly impossible. Instability pushes investors away, weakens currencies, drives unemployment, and that spills into global energy markets, which hits your fuel bill and grocery prices. Dubai's advantage wasn't just oil, it was timing, positioning, and ruthless execution. It turned scarcity into urgency, and urgency into a Dubai diversification strategy that reshaped the UAE business model. But sustainability is the real question now. In a world of rising geopolitical rivalry, supply chain fragmentation, and energy transition, can a trade-based model stay neutral forever?
Because if neutrality becomes impossible, the entire structure of how Dubai became rich faces a test it is never truly experienced.
Dubai's story isn't ancient history. It's unfolding right now. The Dubai economy still depends on trade routes, aviation flows, capital mobility, and global stability. Understanding how Dubai became rich helps you read headlines differently, whether it's about oil prices, supply chains, or Middle East economic growth. When trade flows smoothly, markets stay calm. When geopolitics fractures, inflation and volatility follow. The bigger lesson isn't about skyscrapers, it's about strategy under pressure. Dubai's oil wealth was limited, so it built alternatives, ports, airlines, finance, tourism. That Dubai diversification strategy reshaped the UAE business model and turned scarcity into leverage. And that mindset applies anywhere. Diversify income, hedge risks, avoid dependency on a single source of stability. Now, the real question is yours. Can other nations replicate this model, or was it a product of unique timing and geography? Is neutrality sustainable in a world moving toward economic blocks and rivalry? And if trade slows, which economies will feel it first? Subscribe, turn on notifications, and keep learning how geopolitics, economics, and power shape your everyday life.